guys, cruising into Chicago, into the city. I am going to do a little video on my Mavic Mini and this little fun signal booster I bought for the controller. A lot of people were kind of laughing, like, oh, this little goofy $10, $13 accessory or booster. And I went ahead and tried it in the suburbs where I live, and instantly I got a lot more range. So to me, it's pretty simplistic. You go and you fly and you reach your limit, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 times, knowing you can't go any further. You slip those things on and they instantly improve your range almost double. So with that being said, I had a few people questioning how it worked in the city. So that's what I'm going to test out today. I'm going to go to an area where I was having difficulty flying my Mavic Mini last time with the range. I forgot how horrible it was in the city. So normally I'm flying a Mavic 2 Zoom or a Mavic Air 2. Mavic Air 2. So I am going to go and see. We know those are OcuSync 2. This isn't. So let's test it out and see what kind of range we get with these little goofy gold but inexpensive signal boosters or antenna boosters. So see you in a second. People were kind of making fun of me as if these things didn't work because they were only $10 or $13 or whatever they were, and they look kind of gimmicky. But I'll tell you what, testing them in the suburbs, they totally did work, and my range was instantly improved, and I had some people questioning whether or not they would work well in the city, and that's what we're going to test right now. So I got my Mavic Mini. That's what I'm going to use these guys on. I'm going to first go and do a little flight. I'm right over kind of by Millennium Park in Chicago, and I'm going to see what kind of range I can get going out to the lake, because I had a lot of difficulty last time when I was flying. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on the boosters and see what that will do. So I'm going to do a screen recording, and I'll show you guys what I'm seeing as I go out, and then we'll continue on from there. So let's see if the little gimmicky boosters work. I'm going to power on this guy. Oh, little Mini is so mini. This guy will start up. Start up my controller. And what do you guys think? Do you keep your antennas this way, parallel, or do you keep them up? With the boosters, you need to keep them up, so I'm going to test it this way for the sake of the video purpose. And I'm going to put this guy down. I'm going to get into my Fly app, turn on screen recording. Oh. Okay. So as you see, I am going to get the exposure somewhat dialed in. And we are waiting for some GPS to lock into place. Okay, so now it's giving me this limit because I probably don't have the GPS coordinates. Aircraft in altitude zone. There we go. Now I got locked in the coordinates, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to make sure I'm recording the screen. I am. And I'm going to continue to fly out towards the lake. So let me get some exposure. Okay. Now I'm going to go into sport mode and just cruise as far as I can to the lake. So I'm facing the drone. It's automatically saying, I know I shouldn't be passing the highway. Maybe I'll wait for some traffic to go. I'll actually wait for the traffic to stop and be a good boy. I'm going to go at a little bit more altitude. So now I'm getting over the lake. And signal seems to be fluctuating only at 700 and... Okay, so no transmission at 849 feet. I'll confirm the return to home, and I'm going to stop there. See, that really stinks. So with my Mavic Air 2 or Mavic 2 Zoom, that wouldn't happen. So return this guy to home. Still no signal. Jeez. Really loses signal. Okay. Tap that and I'll manually fly this guy home. I'm flying out to the lake. I'm flying over the lake. So land this guy. I got told not to fly over Millennium Park, which I wasn't. And then we'll fly back out with the antenna. There we land this little cute drone. There we go. So that was pretty lame, flying only 850 feet and having this thing lose signal. So now we're going to put on the little antenna boosters that people make fun of and think are kind of gimmicky, and we'll see what happens with that. So I got to see if they're actually in this box or not. And they are. Okay. So this is essentially what you get. Can you see that? So you get this little guy. Actually really a nice presentation, honestly. And I bought this brand because, as you see, it has this little rubber piece that keeps it securely on the antenna. So when you open them up, you basically get this thing, kind of like a pair of weird little... And they have a piece of film on it that you got to remove first. And then all you do is make sure this is towards the back and slide them over. So we're going to slide one guy on. And then slide that guy on. And as you see, pretty securely. Whoop. So can you see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of sliding them down. And then sliding them down flush. And now we'll see what happens with the range with this guy. So we're going to take this guy out. We had a limit at like 850 feet, and we'll see what happens now with these little guys that people said were gimmicky on the drone, and see if we can get out like 1,500 feet. And it didn't have GPS. So let me see. There we go. So we have satellite. I'm gonna take off. I don't have much battery, which is never really reassuring. And I somehow got out of the app. Okay, and you want this facing the direction of the drone. So aim this towards where I'm going. And now let's cruise out.
I think I'm a decent photographer,
So now let's see, 400 feet. So I'm already at 1,000 feet. I'm going to go into P mode and get out of sport mode and cruise a little bit more. Let's see. So personally, I just don't think this thing has great range for some reason in the city, regardless. That's kind of what I'm gathering. Here, hold on a second. I better stay in the shade. Adjust that guy. Okay. I mean, I'm definitely getting better range. I think you got to be patient with it. So I'm at 1,300 feet, 1,400 feet. Let me see if I can double it and get to 1,600 feet. Kind of making me nervous a little bit. So I'm at 1,700 feet with transmission, even though it doesn't seem like it's very good transmission. But it's definitely better than without it. So let me go into manual mode. No ISO 800, ISO 100, still way. Should ideally have some filters on this guy. And I think that's basically my limit. I'm going to try to fly back a little bit, get more in range. So I'm seeing. It's never fun when you're flying and you lose reception. It just isn't. So that's one of the limitations of the Mini, in my opinion. Personally, I would fly with these things regardless, because it just seems to help that much more as opposed to flying without anything. That's how it feels, at least. I really don't enjoy flying the Mini far. I think that's another thing that has, that's part of this Mini experience. It's not meant to go flying really far like you could with another drone. So basically, one of the limitations with this drone is the fact that you just can't fly super far comfortably. It's meant to just cruise around. I think it's a great real estate drone. I'm gonna fly back and I'm paying attention to the building. So I know this building is where I'm at right now. The one with this little, whoop, right over there. So a good thing too, a little tip, if you point your gimbal all the way down, whoop, and you have this little crosshair in the center, you could essentially aim right where you're at. So I know, so here I'm cruising down. I'm getting out of the park zone. And I know I'm right over here, kind of by this little zone. But this is a great way to pinpoint, just have the gimbals pointing straight down with the crosshair, and you essentially get precision with where you're landing. So if I look up, I could see the drone. Boop. I know you can't see it yet, but I got visual line of sight on it, backing it in, and I'll land it right here with pretty decent precision. I have it in P mode. I like flying it in backwards, personally. And voila. So I guess the consensus is this does get you further, without a doubt. for my experiences, just literally flying with and without it, it works. And it's definitely worth $13 to have in your camera bag just in case. I wouldn't recommend flying this Mini really far, personally. I don't think it's that drone. You should have another drone like Phantom 4 Pro or Mavic 2 series or Mavic Air 2, ideally something with OcuSync 2. But again, I would say thumbs up on this guy. I'll put a link below of the exact ones that I have. I heard some don't have this little rubber grommet, so they actually become loose and fly off. This, as you see, they're not going anywhere. They're on here. So that's why I spent $3 more to get these. So thumbs up as far as I'm concerned. Again, I don't know how it is in the city. I wouldn't personally fly this thing that far, and that's pretty much the moral of the story. Mavic Mini, keep as more of a, a conservative flying drone, and then use your other ones for more aggressive flights. So I hope this helps, guys. Subscribe if you can, trying to reach that 1,000 mark. It's gonna be a cool thing when I actually do break 1,000, because that way I can go live, I believe. So I can do a lot of little live clips where I'm at and do little tips and tricks and things like that while I'm on the fly. So anyway, pun intended, aloha, peace.